Hi, everyone. My name is Vlad Zemen. So I'm the group head of information systems at Traxys. Traxys is a metal trading company. So we trade raw materials as well as refined metals, but we're also a service provider to many of our customers. So we do trade finance, we do offtake agreements, hedging. So again, we sort of have this duality a bit to what we do, which is customer focused as well as trading focused. My background just before that, so I've been in energy trading and commodity trading, information systems my whole career. I started on the technology side, and I'm still there. I started as a developer, actually building an in-house energy trading system years ago for a trading company, and worked for a while in the software industry as well with one of the big CTRM vendors. So kind of have worked on both sides of it. And one thing, this whole topic of automation has been near and dear to my heart, and it's always been a challenge in a way. It's always been a desire for the industry, but challenging to get there, particularly in physical commodities. So it's great to be part of this forum and talk a little bit about our experience. What I'd say, first of all, a little bit about our automation journey at Traxys. So it's interesting that this seminar is entitled Commodity Digitization 2.0, right? And it sort of begs the question, or raised the question in my mind. So what was 1.0 exactly? And I guess the answer may be different for all of us on this call, a little bit different. For us, 1.0 was all about getting all your information in one place reliably, where you could get the reporting you need, get the outputs you need, be able to analyze your data, be able to view your data, be able to control your business, basically. 2.0 really for us means, okay, well, now that we've kind of done that, I think most organizations are there or are close to being there. Would we say that at the end of that, our users all went, oh, this is fantastic and this is great and we love it? Well, to be honest, no, right? I think what many users found, particularly in operations and logistics, was, okay, we understand why the corporation is doing this. We understand why we need all this important data in the system. We understand the reporting needs, but it hasn't really made our jobs any easier. We just have more data to put in, more information to maintain, more timely, and it's very challenging and it's difficult. And the demand for that information continues to grow, both from our internal stakeholders as well as external stakeholders. And I think Rick mentioned a couple out there, like like regulators, but there are also lenders. Even we're finding our lenders that provide financing to our business expect much more detailed, much more timely information than ever before. So, so a big part of where we are and what the initiative for us now and going forward for some time is, how do we make this easier? How do we make this more efficient for our operations and logistics teams? And it's all about that automation. We're focusing particularly on helping get information that's out there, that's available from our service providers. So this could be warehousing, transportation providers. There's a lot of good information out there, but it tends not to move fluidly. Even after all these years and all these cool technologies, it does not move fluidly from external parties to us and vice versa. You're always having to build an API or something like that. And I think this is why we kind of chose one piece of this. We're working on several areas of this at Traxys, but the one area I'm going to talk about is automation of incoming service invoices. So those are the invoices for all of your transportation, your warehousing, your inspection fees. They tend to be sort of smaller amount, so smaller invoices, but very large numbers of them compared to materials invoices, for example, and from a very wide group of service providers with a very wide range of technology capabilities, from quite sophisticated to actually quite immature, but who still provide great services. So how do you get all that together? We really look, and this is how we came upon ClearDox. We started looking at how do we take all those incoming documents and basically eliminate or reduce the effort to key in all that data. Kind of like April was talking about, a lot of good people spending a lot of time just entering data. And we really started thinking about AI and natural language processing. We looked at a few different solutions out there, saw a couple of very advanced ones, in fact, that have been doing AI for years, and really selected ClearDox because similar reasons to April, because actually they got our business, right? So if we talk about MOTs, if we talk about Incoterms, they don't look at us with a blank stare. They know what we're talking about, right? And that's helped tremendously in implementing this project. So basically, we use ClearDox, and here's where we're slightly different from April and StoneX. So we really rely heavily on the back end of ClearDox. They are basically our preprocessor. They're the engine that takes all this incoming documentation, these incoming invoices, and turns them into structured data, which we can then do something with in our systems. We've actually developed in-house an application that kind of connects the information we're getting from ClearDox with our CTRM platform, which is a third-party sort of commercially available software, and with our document management platform, which is also commercial software. But all of those have to be linked. And so we built basically a tool that brings the data that ClearDox has extracted from the invoices, links it up with the transactions in our CTRM, and helps our operators very quickly kind of verify the incoming invoice, match it up without doing a lot of data entry, and it gets saved to our CTRM. The budgeted costs get drawn down with the actual invoice. Any exceptions are identified very quickly. The document gets saved to our document management system and indexed accordingly, and the invoice then flows into sort of a standard electronic approval workflow we have in-house. So so that's our project, and it's been remarkable because we get thousands of these invoices across the organization every month. And we were finding, so we ran some stats. We asked our users to basically take a stopwatch and tell us really, like, how long did it take you before? How long is it taking you now? And one group sort of reported that the ones who were willing to do this kind of took a few samples and said, okay, so our invoices typically was averaging us, just that kind of entry recording piece was averaging about 4 to 6 minutes per invoice, depending on complexity. And we're kind of seeing 2 to 3 minutes now. And that doesn't seem like a lot, but multiply that by thousands and multiply that by reduced frustration, reduced fat fingers or data entry errors, and it's huge. And our users are actually quite really happy, I'd say delighted with the capability that this offers and the time it saves them doing, frankly, a pretty boring task. So so that's our project. A little bit about lessons learned, just a couple of things I'd share from this project and other projects. So one thing that I found really helps is start with a familiar paradigm and build on that. So what I mean by that is if you start from a really technology perspective, you may find yourself saying, okay, let's kind of build this tool that's fully automated, that uses an API that talks to external parties and makes all the data flow automatically in the background. Yes, it's great, but it's quite challenging to get all your external parties to actually buy into that and use a common technology or API. So what actually, what's the common paradigm today? It's commercial documents, commercial paper, sent around using standard email, typically as a PDF, and then somehow entered and processed and put through some approval work. That's the familiar paradigm. And that's where ClearDox really has helped us tremendously, because they work with that paradigm. They work with the documents that our users receive, and they don't ask the people sending those documents to do anything differently. So that's the first kind of lesson learned, and that served us well. The other thing is go in small steps. Really, really important. Small steps. It's worked well for us. Don't boil the ocean. Make an incremental improvement. Engage your users and stakeholders in that improvement, and then ask them what would help them more. And go in these little steps. Your users become engaged in the process. They get it. And where they might have started by running away when they see you coming down the hallway with your transformation project, they end up actually coming to you now and saying, oh, I have an idea on what we can do next. And that's the key. That's I think where we're all trying to get to. And final thing is, measure what you can. It's hard to measure everything. It's hard to measure sort of benefits of control improvements, because it's all about, it's more about risk avoidance and cost avoidance. But you can certainly measure automation improvements. You can measure how long it took somebody to do something. You can measure how many people are using the tool, which departments are using it, what percentage, and you can share that with all your stakeholders. And if you do that, they actually go, oh, wow, I see I'm not using it. My department's not using it as much as we can be. Let me find out why. And they engage with the process. So, yeah, so those are some of the things we've learned through the process. And thank you.